TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call Taking My Community Back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I leveled them out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Hi, I'm Michael Collier, funniest man on the planet, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Stay tuned, because that's how they do it over here. Big time party! All right, see y'all later. Bye.
Hi, I'm Harry Lennox, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the Talk Show Divas. We have an exciting show today for you. My name is Miss Sheila Moore. I'm an entrepreneur and an actress. And before we dive deep into our show's topic, I want to introduce you to the rest of my lovely co-hosts to my left. Tamar, take it away.
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. My name is Tamar. I'm the creator of Eve's Mist and an entrepreneur here in Atlanta.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Roselle Pompey, the goddess of travel and co-founder of the Empress Mindset. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Renee Jackson, and I'm an entrepreneur. The name of my business is Sparkle, which is a wardrobe rental and wardrobe styling business.
All right, ladies. Happy Sunday. It's been a week.
Sunday. Good
Yeah.
to see
It's been 2 weeks for
Happy
me.
to see you guys today.
I'm so glad to be with you guys, and I'm so glad that we're bringing two very important films for us to review. So we had an opportunity to watch One Night in Miami and American Skin. And we want you guys to take the same opportunity out there. If you haven't watched these dynamic films, the first one is directed on One Night in Miami. It's directed by Regina King, acclaimed actress. I think she's gonna win a big award for this. That's what she's being slated as winning an Oscar for this.
Wow, the big O?
Yes,
Okay.
the big O. That's what we're hearing. And then we have American Skin, who is directed by Nate, what's his last name?
Parker.
Nate
Nate
Parker,
Parker.
who is a phenomenal actor, director, and producer
Yes.
alone. So we're getting ready to start Black History Month, tomorrow on a high note, featuring these two films. So we'll take a look at the first one, which is called One Night in Miami. This film was set in Miami in 1964, following the president fight of, at the time he was Cassius
Clay.
Clay. He wasn't Muhammad Ali at
He
that
wasn't
time.
Muhammad Ali at that time.
Cassius Clay and
What is Sam Cooke?
no, he fought. Who did he fight?
He's Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston. That fight
He was
where
a
he
boxer.
beat Sonny Liston.
When he became
So it's a historic fight, and he became the heavyweight champion of the world during this fight.
at 22
At 22.
At 22 years old, during the height
of the civil rights movement.
civil rights movement in America. So this film started out as a screenplay. Before it was
Yes,
a
it did.
screenplay prior, and then it was picked up to be developed into the film that we saw. Now, I have very, very strong opinions about the film. I'm not going to share as much until I hear my counterparts what they think, because we have I'm not going to name them, but we have two history buffs amongst us on the Talk Show Diva. So they like this film, and they have so much to share about it and everything. And then we have two, and I'm gonna let you guess who the other two are. We have two people who are maybe not as much into historical films.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, well,
I'm older than all y'all. Shit, tell you the truth.
no, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not into historical films like this, like
Okay,
this
gotcha.
genre. So it took me 3 attempts to watch it. I did. I could not grasp it. It was a very slow film to develop for me. But it does have a lot of history. It has a lot of history, and the significance about it was that 4 leaders in the African American community during the 60s in their own genre. We have Sam Cooke, who was changing the game in music as an artist, playing at the Coco Cabana.
Yep.
We have Muhammad Ali, who was the first black heavyweight to defeat, to win the title as the first heavyweight as a black man. Then we have Malcolm X, who was, at that time, he was in the Nation of Islam and shaking things up throughout Jim Crow South and across the world. He was making headways for his views on what America really should look like. Then we had Joe Brown. And what's his name? No,
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown
Football.
was an NFL player from here in Georgia. He was from St. Simon Islands,
St. Simon.
St. Simon Islands, Georgia. So we had 4 men in 4 different careers, 4 different aspects of their lives who were leaders, who met in Miami this President night to watch Muhammad Ali take this title. So they were friends. That's
Yes.
they were
Yeah,
all
they were all
friends.
friends.
and which was so significant that we see that they crossed all these borders. You know, they were all from different parts of the country, and they still somehow managed to unite and be friends. So that was the theme that I caught right off the bat, was the theme of brotherhood. And so I want to launch into, what do you think about the brotherhood of those 4 leaders? Because they all had different views, different religious backgrounds. Let's dive into the brotherhood aspect. What do you think?
I thought it was, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie a great deal. And the brotherhood aspect was one of the better parts of the movie to me. You had black men that influenced the culture in each of their fields. And the fact that they were friends, they respected one another, and to have an opportunity to come together on this particular night, because they came there to celebrate Cassius Clay winning right before he was going to announce he was becoming Muslim, and he would be named Muhammad Ali. So in the context of the movie, I thought it was very important and very serious, the conversation that they actually had. And it made me think about, right now in 2021, will we have this type of conversation come with LeBron and with the Kanye, I mean, with everybody coming from different areas where they have a broad span of influence? Would they sit down and actually chop it up and talk about what needs to be done to move the culture forward and for social justice? So it was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that was like the major piece to that movie. I enjoyed it as well. I was surprised that they were friends to begin with, because I felt like, well, I knew about Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, that relationship, but I didn't know about Sam Cooke or Jim Brown. And I mean, the backstory about that, I think, would be fascinating to see how they were able to, and I think the movie touched on how much of a fan Malcolm was of Sam Cooke. And he saw his power and how he was able to turn a situation, a concert in Boston, around.
Yes.
And with no music, he was able to move this massive crowd to not,
that was good.
you know, throw him out. They were throwing stuff at him, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know, I have that presence that I can sit there and command." I think thousands of people to show his influence in the fact that he had that capability. And I think that's when, with the movie, it touched on how powerful Sam really was.
Yes.
And, you know, Malcolm brought the spirituality piece to it, but it was, to me, fascinating that they all, you know, they weren't very spiritual men, but they connected with Malcolm X. That to me was like huge, that he wasn't so, because a lot of times people who are spiritual have a tendency to disconnect from the rest of the world. They don't interact with popular people. They separate themselves from that.
But the thread that kept them connected was they were black men.
That's true.
That was the common and the strongest thread, that they were all black men. They were all subject to the same type of treatment.
Yes.
And that was the thing that bonded them the most.
Yeah. And you know, they came together during the Civil Rights Movement. And this was the time where Malcolm X was distancing himself from the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
And there was some threats that was going on, and he noticed that the FBI was watching him. So he saw that Cassius Clay, tongue twister, was like his ticket to get like world stage,
mainstream
the
Nation of
world's,
Islam.
well, I mean, because this is global now, right? They're fighting. This is the world championship.
You're gonna tell the whole show.
Okay. But yeah, but you know, that really was like the part that really I loved, was the fact that they surprised me with their friendship. So,
Okay.
yes.
What's your take,
Fantastic. Oh, my take basically was that it was interesting. I wasn't surprised that they were friends because back in that particular era, you know, those that were at the top,
Yeah.
they were at the top.
Correct.
Because they could have easily, in my opinion, and I don't know why, but, you know, I thought James Brown could have easily taken Sam Cooke's place, to be honest with you. You know, so I just looked at the directorship and who put the movie together, which it was really great. I did enjoy it a lot. But my take on it was that not the fact that they were the spirituality aspect, because spirituality is one thing and religion is something totally different.
Totally different.
True.
So
That's true.
everybody can be in a particular religion, but that doesn't mean that they're spiritually connected.
That's true.
So I believe that they all had their religious aspects, how they were probably raised, because they were black men, most of them were from the South,
Correct.
that they had a connection. But the spiritual aspect, I believe, was something different, because in order to do that, the transformation of, he was like, you better take your last drink that he was offering him.
Yeah.
And just because you take a drink doesn't mean that you're not religious or spiritual.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another little part that was in the movie. But nonetheless, I thought that the movie was very interesting and embodied a lot, that they actually thought that they were going to be going to this party, and the party only consisted of those four brothers getting together, having this powerful conversation that they didn't know that was going to take place.
With ice cream.
You know, with ice cream and some
Ice
chips or
cream,
whatever.
that's
They
it.
thought they were going to have women and whatever, alcohol and the whole 9 yards. So my takeaway in that aspect was that they were getting ready to have a powerful moment that was unbeknownst to them. You know, so. it was
Speaking
good.
about powerful moments in the film, what struck me as just, and I know it was supposed to strike all of us, in the opening scenes of the film, we're not trying to give it all away, but we do want to touch on a couple of hot scenes. In the opening scenes of the film, it's on a plantation. It's a plantation type house that you see set up, and Jim Brown is approaching his coach. Is that his coach that he's
I
approaching?
believe it was his high school coach or something. Yeah.
On St. Simon's Island here in Georgia. And apparently he had been all across the news and everything, because he was, you know, very strong and passionate in his viewpoints about where we were, I guess, about the civil rights.
He was breaking
movement.
records.
Yeah, breaking records,
Breaking
and
records.
and he was not quiet about it, you know. And so he approaches his high school coach, and it's very like plantation-esque as he's walking up, and he's knocking on the door, and they have the whole long porch, screened-in porch, and his white coach is there and says, "Oh, come on, sit," you know, telling him, "Come on in." He invites him into the porch area, and they have a sit down and, you know, chop it up. Chop it up.
Have some tea.
Have some lemonade.
lemonade.
The daughter brings out. The daughter is so enthusiastic. She's in awe of this NFL player on her porch. She brings out lemonade to her dad and his former player. And as they're getting done with the conversation, she says, "Okay, Dad, I need you to help me move this dresser." And he says, "Are you?"
We telling homework.
Jim Brown says, "Are you moving the furniture? Are you moving the furniture? Because this is just poignant, and I just want to share it. Are you moving the furniture?" And he says, "No, I am moving the furniture." And he goes to help him move the furniture. He says, "Oh no, you know we don't allow any niggers in our house." And that was the opening scene of this movie. And it just like says, it didn't matter how many yards you ran, it didn't matter how much success you are.
That's the whole point.
That was
the whole point of the movie.
The point of the film.
Whatever, yes.
Yeah, that was.
Yes.
That was it.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
We're going to pick right back up when we get back. But before we go, let me tell you about our awesome lineup at TV 1061. On Tuesdays, we have at 12:30 Your Real Estate Tea. On Wednesdays, 8 p.m., The Flavor. 9:30, The Playlist. And on Friday, 7 p.m. is The Life Lounge. Saturday, 3:30 p.m., The Conversation. 5 o'clock p.m., we have Bedroom Chronicles. And on Sunday at 4:30 p.m., you can join us right here with the Talk Show Divas. Our executive producer is Felix Washington. Our social media director is Shantae Barksdale. We are a public company that always needs support. You can definitely support us and send donations to Cash App at TV1061. We're going to head to commercial, and we'll be right back to continue talking about these awesome films.
How can you find a reliable source of CBD products? Introducing Holistic Wellness Boutique, a revolutionary collection of CBD tinctures, CBD topicals, CBD edibles, CBD pet products, and other relevant CBD products that help you incorporate CBD into your everyday lifestyle. The best part? Through our special Radiant Transformations program, Dr. Alea Daniel, PharmD, a well-regarded wellness coach, licensed pharmacist, and the mind behind the idea of Holistic Wellness Boutique, will also introduce you to a healthier lifestyle through proper education, nutrition, and a thorough medication evaluation to make the most of our exemplary CBD products. If you are struggling with a chronic condition, we can help you discover how to live a more holistic lifestyle through wellness coaching and the proper selection of hemp-derived CBD products. Visit holisticwellnessboutique.com to schedule a consultation or order an audacious combination of hemp-derived CBD products that will rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth.
Bringing the skin color.
Welcome back, welcome back. We are the Talk Show Divas. This is TV 1061. You can follow us here live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're now streaming on Roku TV. You can follow us on Roku. Just look up TV 1061, and you'll be able to see the Talk Show Divas as one of the shows in our lineup. As always, we want to let you know that we are a public company, and we are always willing and accepting of support. Your dollars help us keep all of these wonderful shows on live that we have going right now. To support us, please, please send your cash apps to TV 1061, and we would love to hear your feedback on any one of our show topics. Stay right with us, and we're going to get right back into One Night in Miami, this phenomenal film that we're discussing right now.
One of the things that I said was really important, and I believe Regina King wanted to bring home with this movie, was that no matter what levels they were on in their respective fields, they were still niggas to the dominant society.
Correct.
No matter how many yards Jim Brown ran, his coach let him know immediately, you can't cut through the front door. No matter what Muhammad Ali did or was about to do, because he was just beginning with his journey. They were still, it's still about being put in your place. And
he couldn't come through the front door. He said, "You're not allowed." Front door, back door, through the window.
You're not allowed
in the house.
And with Sam Cooke, Sam Cooke went to the Copacabana, and people just walked out because it was second. They didn't even want to listen to him. This man that was so talented, had a beautiful voice. That was one of the things. That was one of the biggest issues. And the second issue that I think the film brought to light was something. It reminds me of a quote that Nina Simone once said. She said that artists should reflect the times. And that means if you are an artist, if you were an artist during the civil rights movement, then your music and your artistry should reflect what is happening in the culture. And that is one of the messages that Malcolm kept trying to bring home to Sam Cooke in the movie. And that's the same thing. He felt like Jim Brown was doing good on his part as far as being outspoken. And then here we have Muhammad Ali that was about to join the nation. And he was definitely, as history will show, he was very outspoken about the plight of blacks.
Yeah, and that is the main scope, the main thing throughout the whole movie is just knowing the fact that you still were viewed that way, regardless of where you are, your talents. It was like you can't break the ceiling. But, you know, and it's like, it's a reminder for us today to know that this is how some people feel about us till this day. And we should not forget that. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't still push forward, because Muhammad Ali, his character knew all of this was happening in society, but he was still like charismatic, and he was full of energy, and he was like, listen, I got the goods. He was the baby of the group.
Correct.
And he had that energy that just brought everybody together. And I think that was another key point, is that the youth are the future, and the youth are going to bring the change. And yes, the elders can guide you, but the youth bring that energy and that drive. And that's why I feel that Muhammad Ali.
I think the youth has the energy and the strong legs. You know what I mean? And the uncovered feet, so they can get out there and march. And they can take a physical hit. You're right, while you can sit behind. My feeling was that even just recently, as we just lost Hank Aaron, and you know, his counterparts talked about him so passionately, because he endured a lot in even breaking Babe Ruth's record. And they were telling him, do not break this record or you will be murdered. But at the same time, you know, you're going to do your job every day. You're absolutely magnificent at your job, and then you have some white that's not significant telling you, don't break this man's record or you're going to be murdered. But he went out there every day and did his job, and so happened he did. And that is why, I don't know if y'all saw his service, but his service went on. I mean, it was beautiful. And that the Caucasian counterparts talked about this man with this grace and this finesse and this charisma, because that's what he possessed. So even in spite of what we have to deal with every day because of our skin color, we're gonna just cream rises continuously to the top. So it really doesn't matter. But we have to always remember, they're gonna make us remember. Don't ever think that they're not. They're gonna always make us remember who we are, by putting us back in our place. Because once you think you're getting ready to come here comes someone letting you know, you came too far. Or I'm going to let one or two in, but all y'all can't come in right now. And it's just the structure of how America has been built, just being honest. In general, it's just the structure. Let me say this also, and in that era, during that time, all of these people were, I mean, just fantastic performers and entertainers and politicians, and they still would have to go in a different door, to the back door, you know. So that whole mindset played a lot on them. Imagine right now if we had to endure that. So these people, we think that we're independent and strong and rebel riders. Those people back in the day, they were superheroes in my eyes. Superheroes to me. Because you made a comment, and I don't know who you're referring to, but I think I'm probably the most senior on this panel. I grew up in that time period, not me personally, but my siblings, they were just these radical Black Panther, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud type of people. So that's all we heard every day was what was going on in our culture. Let me just say that.
Yes. Okay. So, in response to what you're saying, I was talking about the movie.
Specifically. Okay.
The movie.
All right.
I don't believe you and I were just talking off. We didn't really.
I did. I off and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just explain this and say this for our people that are watching it. It is a historical film, and with historical films, you do need to have a fifth grader couldn't watch it unless they had some historical background and historical content to be able to place these leaders at this point in time. It would be very confusing. And so that's my thought about like when we're talking to our audience, who would value this film? they would value it, but they would need to have had a prior conversation about these 4 leaders prior to seeing this film.
Or read something.
Because they wouldn't be able to put it in context. And the reason why it's probably not able to put it in the context is because it was a screenplay. So a play always places something at a specific point in time with very little transition.
That is.
So that's the note on that.
Look, you did that.
I just want to add one more thing. The integrity that Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown had as athletes.
Come on.
We would not see that right now.
Nope.
Because everybody's too worried about the paycheck or the
About the dollar.
endorsement being dropped.
Absolutely.
Our forward movement as a race and our place in this country comes second, third, fourth, or fifth
To that
to
money.
them securing the bag.
Yes, right.
And I think
You
that
better
is
say
the
it.
problem, because what Muhammad Ali did, and like Renee was saying, the sacrifices that they made, each of them that went
Was
in those
phenomenal.
back doors, they
Phenomenal.
were thinking about, I have to do this
I have
for
to do
my
so
this.
people.
she
Yes.
can walk through the front.
That's right.
And we just don't have that level of commitment and sacrifice.
Because
and
we just
love.
take it for granted, but
It's
we are
just-
standing on those people's
still on their
shoulders.
shoulders.
We're still standing on their
Absolutely.
shoulders.
So,
And that was
so that's what I think. That's what this movie is bringing back, right? So for us to not forget where we came from and how we got here. So it's like, okay, yes, you need to know the historical content, and that might be lacking in some of our viewers who have not had, any backing in regards to history. Yes, I do love history. I'm sorry. I want to know.
Don't apologize.
Okay, I'm there number 2.
Don't apologize.
Don't apologize. I do too.
But I firmly believe in order to know where you're going, you
have
need
to
to
know
know
where
where
you
you
came
came
from.
from.
You have to.
You have to.
Even deeper than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and that's scratching the surface.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it just felt like it was like, this is a conversation that needs to be had today.
Right. That's what I felt like.
Where politicians, musicians, athletes all get together in the African American community and have a discussion, closed doors, and then go out and implement it. Go out and
No
just
politicians, please.
Them too.
There was no politicians in that room.
No, not for that particular, but I'm talking about for today. We do need our politicians to be involved, I believe, in the conversation, because sometimes you could be so far into what your ideals are as a politician, and you get all these lobbyists coming at you, and bringing that, you lose why you were there in the first place.
So you get bought out. You get bought.
You can be.
And you can be.
'Cause that's
You
what
can
happens
be.
with politicians.
As well as the entertainers too.
They may
They can get bought out too.
Go in with all the intentions in the world, but by the time it's said and done, they're bought, and so therefore they're of no help to us.
And that was amazing, because when have you ever heard that happen? In present day,
To
in
have those-
21st,
yeah.
to have just where they all sit down and meet and see how they want to collectively do
Kind
their
of hash
part.
it out, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to having always a dollar bill attached to why they're doing their own little certain things by themselves. Why come you can't get together collectively to do this?
The level of support.
And I think
that
We
was
were motivated
that
by
was
different things back then.
and I think, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
we were motivated by different
And we had a common enemy.
Yes.
And we
still do.
Understood who the
And-
enemy- We still
but-
do.
Even
But
more
back
so.
then, Renee,
Yeah.
we knew who it was.
Yes.
Now we're a little confused.
Yes.
Are we?
Confused.
And
Yes.
some people
Yes.
feel like they have
You're
arrived.
confused?
Some people are confused about who the enemy is.
Really?
Very much so.
You feel that way?
I do.
Do you feel that way?
I think
Just yes or no. Do you feel that way? Because this commentary getting ready to bring it.
Yeah, I'm about to pull you guys aside for a sidebar regarding this film, Regina King. Let's take a moment and talk about Regina King as far as breaking glass ceilings. We'll be talking about her when we come back. You guys, stay tuned. We're going to go away for a commercial break and pay some bills, and we'll be right back with Talk Show Divas.
Stay right there.
Hi, I'm Chief Gary Sparks with the Douglasville Police Department. Today we want to give you some safety tips concerning traffic stops. Take a look.
So you look in your rearview mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. yield to the right, and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? Do you have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you,
Thank
too.
you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Welcome back. We're the Talk Show Divas. We're taking a deep dive into two amazing films. We're going to touch on American Skin right now. But before we get started, I want to let you know about our amazing sponsors for today's episode. We have Vizard. It is a taste so delectably finesse. This is a spirit, a Moscato drink.
Wow.
You can follow them on IG and Facebook at Vizard Spirits. To order direct, please place your calls at 678-896-5105. Again, Vizard. Vizard Spirits on IG, Vizard Spirits on Facebook. Our next sponsor for today's show is called Dose, a skincare line. Dose skincare line can be found at www.dose, spelled D-O-S-S, skincare.com. Thank you for your sponsorship, and we look forward to seeing all the great products that you have. If you are interested in sponsorship, please contact us at TV 1061. We're on Facebook, Roku, and YouTube. Back to the topic at hand. We're diving into the second film, American Skin. this is a trigger warning film.
Yes.
You will be definitely triggered by this film. It is produced, directed, and he is starring in it by Nate Parker.
Yeah.
Who you might know him as in The Birth of a Nation. Okay?
And Spike Lee has something to do with this too.
So this is a phenomenal film, a take on a parent losing their son right in front of them. Nate Parker plays Link, as he's affectionately known in this film. He's a dad, he's a war vet, and his 14-year-old son is murdered right in front of him. He is murdered by law enforcement, 14 years old. And this film takes you through what that dad feels like and what are the immediate steps and actions that happen after his son is murdered.
The movie is, there were, my nephew watched it also with me, and he cried like 3 times. Okay, and my nephew is one of those hard, never gonna crack a tear. I'm like, okay, are you really over shit? But it was so, he said the reason it impacted him so much, there's a scene where the cousin of the boy that got murdered was talking to a police officer. In this particular scene, a riot, protest broke out once they realized the grand jury was not going to indict. So they do what they always do, you guys. They come to the mom's house and try to convince her to get on TV so she can tell everybody to go home and relax and calm. And this cousin was going in and was just, he was showing his anger and his pain and the fact that you didn't care enough to make sure that the integrity of the grand jury, just to make sure that we receive some modicum of justice, but now you want to come here because your city has erupted and put mama on stage and tell everybody to go home. So he was like really going in hard, and that was one of the things that my nephew was just saying resonated with him, and that is the rage that our children feel inside and how when they animate that rage, they also run the risk of being a victim. So it is like being told to cry with a pillow over your mouth. Because the sound
suffocate you.
Because the sound that you make when you cry is irritating me. But you're the reason that I'm crying.
Right.
So the movie was, I mean, it is so many things that I can say about this movie besides the fact that it just touched me at home. But what white people need to realize, and the reason Nate Parker made this movie, he is sending a direct message. And what he's saying is, imagine if we did the opposite of what plays out most of the time. We take the pain, we bury our loved ones, and then it's just another day. What if we decided your sense of justice wasn't enough and we're going to take it in our own hands? And that's what America needs to be afraid of, is that we start taking things into our own hands and finding our level of justice that we feel is going to matter to
like
us.
a real insurrection.
Yes.
Approximately 2,000 people were murdered by police in the U.S. last year in 2020. 2,000. Most of them were black and brown sisters and brothers. And I think Nate did a phenomenal job of depicting our pain. When I saw the intro of this, and I'm thinking to myself, I have an 18-year-old son. 11-year-old son, and my 18-year-old son, I'm always, when he is going out, I'm always telling him, look, you know, don't get in any trouble. If somebody approaches you, a police, I don't have to tell him, I'm not warning him about any other crime. I'm warning him about police violence. That's
correct.
That's what I'm warning him about. I say, as a young Afro-Latino man, you may be a target for someone thinking you did something. If someone approaches you, a police approach you, FaceTime me, call me immediately, put me on, say, talk to my mom. And that, why do I have to think like that in this day and time? So Nate brought it home. He showed our pain, but he also showed our purpose.
Ooh, did he? Boy, did he ever.
Okay?
Did he ever.
Okay, so we look at this film, and we don't want to give away too much, because if you haven't watched it, it is called American Skin. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have a Prime subscription, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. But we don't want to give away everything in the film, but we do want to let you know that it is a trigger warning. You will feel something when
All
you
kind
see
of
this.
something.
You're going to feel all kind of something.
Yeah.
Because it's basically turned all of these stories, Ahmaud Arbery, every victim, George Floyd, every victim that we see, it has merged it all into one 14-year-old body. And so now we can understand from that parent's point of view, if you've never lost a child, and God forbid if you have anybody out in our audience, our hearts goes out to you if you've lost a child due to any type of violence. But specifically if you lost a child due to violence from a police official. We teach our children police safety and that they're supposed to be protected by the police. So a 14-year-old would never estimate that their life would end at the hand of someone who is supposed to protect them.
And you're absolutely correct, because I reflect back to my son, and when he started driving, I would tell him, listen, just follow whatever the officer says, keep your hands on the wheel, and we have lawyers that will come in, don't back talk, just, you know, and it's, don't talk, just, yes, here you go, hand all your information over, and if they arrest you, don't worry about it, we'll come and we will fix it for you, right? Don't feel like you have to do. So you're right, that is every black parent fear in this country. If you have a son, and now daughters too, okay? It's just like we have to just, and it's a shame that we have to tell our children this, because our white counterparts are not telling their children that.
That's our coming of age talk.
Yeah.
Like, we have to have the talk, and we don't mean the birds and the bees.
Right.
That's what they're having with their children.
We're having a different
Our
type
talk is a different coming of age conversation.
Correct.
But the one thing I will say is he embodied what I would have wanted to do. All of us have felt like, I want to take a gun, go find out who killed my child, and handle this
myself.
Exercise real justice.
What was that film that came out in the 90s? And I think it was it Will Smith and his son was sick, or a child was sick, and he took over the hospital?
No,
that was Denzel Washington. Yeah.
John Q.
So it had a very John Q-ish
type of
tone.
Yeah.
Where I'm a dad, I'm a parent, I'm going to find justice or seek justice for my child. And it's just, it speaks to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're race or gender or anything. You would go to the ends of the earth for your child.
And that is very true. And let me share this really quick, because, you know, as we're talking like it's present day, but I remember when I was young and growing up in the late 70s, my mom would tell me if I got stopped by the police, don't stop. That was back then.
Really?
My mom told me
stop?
to just keep, and I'm from a chocolate city, Gary, Indiana.
Hello, Gary.
And my mom would tell me, just drive straight home. Do not stop.
Really?
Yes, my mom told me that back then. She said, don't stop. Drive straight home. If it's in the morning, just lay on your horn till someone comes out, but do not get out of your car.
Oh, wow.
That was back then.
Yeah.
Because we know we have a lot of unsolved mysteries that occur in a lot of cities, and
All
that
the
you never
time.
find out what happened to this person, this Jane Doe, this John Doe, that has
Just
no
disappeared.
names, just disappeared, and that is talked about it and is pushed under the rug, and you never ever, because I remember it's a couple of people that I grew up with, young ladies, we never found out what happened to her.
Wow.
Never found out what happened to this beautiful, beautiful black young lady. And I remember my mom telling me, never stop, and I never did.
The only,
Just FYI.
in the movie,
Hello,
Renee,
don't stop.
The
Don't stop.
reason this boy was shot was because he was filming them. They
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
him to put the
Wanted
him to put the camera down and stop filming the traffic stop.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
And it comes from the body cam.
And the police said
they
he
had
felt
the body cam
he
on.
felt threatened.
Threatened.
Yes.
They always feel
by
threatened.
an iPhone.
Yeah,
I was
always
like,
feel
okay,
threatened.
yeah. So
Always
So
feel
not
threatened.
only do you have to worry about being a victim of police, you have to worry about if you are capturing a crime via iPhones. You know, everybody whips out their iPhones to film
because you have the
everything.
right to it.
You
That's
have
your
the
right.
right.
You have
That
the right
is
to
your
film
right.
when the police stop.
But you have to also worry about what can happen to you,
repercussions,
the
yes.
repercussions.
Yes.
Because several times, wasn't it Eric Gardner who was the guy who filmed him? He was arrested or something happened to him?
They've had so many cases like that.
Exactly.
They're trying to give him 10 years.
Exactly,
10 years
because he filmed
for filming.
the murder of Eric Gardner.
Yeah.
So you also have to take in consideration of that. Did you hear recently about the officers here in Georgia who had on body cam, did not realize their body cam was on, and they were saying all type of racial slurs, and they were saying the N-word. They were talking about that they would. I'll find it. Don't worry. Okay. I'll find it and bring it to your attention, and we'll post it.
Let me know,
in the
'cause
comments.
I didn't hear that.
We'll talk about that and all our other amazing topics, but we have to pay some bills. You guys, we are sponsored today by Vizard, a taste so delectably and finesse. Vizard Spirits, you can check them out on IG and Facebook or call direct to order at 678-896-5105. Our other amazing sponsor is Dose Skincare Line. You can check them out at www.doseskincare.com. Thank you, and we'll be right back with our next segment.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm Dynasty Smith, and I'm your host for The Flavor, where we're going to be showcasing some of the hottest independent artist videos from all around. So y'all tune in every Wednesday at 8 o'clock just by typing into your YouTube bar, TV 1061. So if you go into your YouTube search bar, type in TV 1061 to join us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock to check out some of the hottest new independent artist videos from all over. If you want to check us out on Facebook, just type in The Flavor and you can find us on Facebook. And yo, for you artists out there, lights, camera, action. Now the camera's on you. If you want to get your video aired on The Flavor, then you need to hit us up at 1061tv@gmail.com. Send us your YouTube link, and then we'll get back to you on details on how you can be on The Flavor.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
They are demons.
They are fucking demons.
Welcome back. Happy Sunday.
Yes, they are.
Welcome back to Talk Show Divas. We are live on Facebook right now, live on YouTube, and we're now on Roku. You can check us out at TV 1061 to support us, along with all our other show listings. You can Cash App us to Cash App with the $ TV 1061. We appreciate all your support. So, ladies, we're discussing our second film today, American Skin. If you're just tuning in, American Skin is a phenomenal film by Nate Parker, was an acclaimed actor, producer, and now director. And we were talking, I left it out on a note where I said I was going to look up this fact. And I looked it up. Racist Georgia police chief and officer called black people niggers. The police chief is Gene Allman and Patrolman John Brooks.
Call people niggers.
They are in the West Georgia town of Hamilton. And this is present day. This is 2021, people.
Oh, yeah.
And their body cam caught them live. You can check it out on probably Google. Anything, any news source, you can look that up. But we were seeing the impact of body cam now.
Are we surprised?
No.
We know that when we leave the room, how they talk about, I mean,
like a dog.
Right. Whether it's a teacher, whether it's a police chief, whether it's people like
in the mortuary,
politics and Zoom, a couple people got caught on Zoom saying things. We know what they think and what they say about us when we leave the room.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I'm surprised about is that they were just dumb enough to not turn the cameras off.
What I'm surprised about is those of us who's not surprised. That's who I'm surprised about. Yes.
Like, oh my goodness,
I can't believe they said that.
Serious right now?
We believe it. We know it.
But this is what. But getting back to American Skin, Nate Parker, his character basically takes over a police precinct and shuts it down.
Yes.
Good.
And
Good for him.
And then he has a mock trial with the people that were in the building, and at the they had to deliver a verdict of whether the police officer was guilty or not guilty, and that's how the rest of the show is.
He took
set
them
around.
hostage.
Yeah.
He took them hostage, and that's what
Renegade.
the movie was set around, and the outcome was very interesting.
Very, very, very
Because
interesting.
It was very interesting. You just have to see it. I don't want to give it away because
Please
it's such a
don't.
good movie. I'm
Because
sorry.
I watched the wrong movie. Let me just say, please don't give it away. I watched the movie
Skin.
just called Skin.
Yes.
Which is an excellent movie as well. And it is totally based on a true story out of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And it's really deep and interesting. So, but
watch
nonetheless,
that tonight.
it was really interesting. Yes, it was very dark, but very interesting and very real. But yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
go
about
ahead. Yes, go ahead.
about this theme of upsurgence and what we don't see in our culture, the takeover of government.
Mitch, look, there are so many stories, and see, this is how I know that the information is guided and coddled, and they put things back because there were many black insurrections in this country when we were trying to get free. But you just don't hear about it. The only story you hear about is the Nat Turner Rebellion.
And the Black
which
Panthers.
Nate Parker did.
And the Black Panther. They
But
killed
there
all
were
of them.
so many uprisings where we were trying to attain our freedom
Justice.
through murdering, killing, and getting rid of
Revolution.
who we saw as the enemy,
That's
at
true.
that time. And for some reason, they will show you a million movies about 12 years a slave. They will have a million slave movies that show how we were subjugated and under the oppressor. But there are hundreds of how we fought back and shut them down and did the things that we did in an effort to get free. And I think that's because they want us to maintain the mentality of victim.
The docility.
Very docile. They want us to stay docile, keep the victim mentality, not think that collectively, because all these uprisings, collectively we came together and we shut it down. The only time the uprisings got shut down was because we had one person, probably somebody who worked in the house. Someone that worked in the house on the plantations went back and told about the plans.
Okay.
But that is, and we still have those same type of dynamics happening present day
That's
too.
true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I mean, getting back to the movie, one of the parts that I enjoyed was when a young college student came to film and get the father's take and his how he moved on after his son has passed away, and it was part of his school project. And when he went to talk about the fact that he took his son out of his current school to bring him to another school to give him a better education, thinking that was going to be his way of escaping, you know,
crime,
and
racism.
racism,
It just doesn't happen
and
that
giving that education. And he was like, okay, I took a job that was beneath me to be a custodian so that my son can attend this school.
Yeah.
And
worked at a school.
he worked at the school, and he still continued to work in the school. And the young man said to him, "Why are you still working here when your son has already passed away?" And it was like an eye-opening moment for the main character, Lincoln, I think, where he was just like, I guess I'm doing it because of habit. It was like, it became like a comfort
Was
thing
he a
for
single
him.
father?
He needed.
Was he a single father?
Yeah.
Yes.
Him and the mom was divorced. The mom was in the movie. The mom was in the movie.
But he was a single father. The son lived with him.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
I've seen that movie already.
Yeah.
I know that movie. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and it was just interesting how sometimes we do things just out of habit.
I think when you're grieving, though, his point was, when you're grieving, you can't just sit still. Some people work through their grief and that pain by just staying busy. So I think when he was like, "Why are you still coming?" he was like, "I just needed something to do instead of just sitting in that pain 24/7." That was the only way he was just able to survive. But what I thought was really interesting about the movie was all of our brothers and sisters here that are part of the military. those men, which were his friends and served with him in Afghanistan, they were Marines, and all of his clique were military.
Yes.
That's how they were able to shut the police station down.
Yes.
And that's how they were able to come out when they got ready. The police never took that place back. They came out when they were ready to come out and relinquish it.
Yes.
So they took the tactics that they learned in Afghanistan to secure the perimeters. They took the tactics and the information and this is a problem for our society.
I'm about to say something.
This is a problem for our society because, like Renee was saying about the Panthers, Geronimo Pratt was the military head of the Black Panthers, and he taught them all of the stuff that he learned in the military. And that's what made them such a triple threat, because they know how you move. They knew the complete MO, and they were using it to benefit us instead of benefiting their country. And this is something that has been a worry for the country, because what if all of our Black infantry and military men that have that level of experience decided to implement it domestically?
I don't think that would ever
protect their neighborhood.
That's who the NFAC are. That's who the NFAC.
Well,
the NFAC. That's who they are. They're all ex-military. All of them. Yes.
So it's a very small segment, though. We have millions of
ex-military men.
Ex-military.
That's true.
And I think, and no offense to anyone who has served or fought for their country, whatever your creed, color, or race or religion. However, our Black brothers and sisters who are in the military are very conditioned. And I think this point that I want to make in reference to this movie, when you look at all of the harm that is done to us as far as Black people, and we have so many retired vets in our communities, why is there no retaliation from people who have that tactical skill?
What do you think?
Well, a lot of them come back with PTSD.
Wait a minute, a lot of them PTSD, and a lot of them come back dope things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so mental health issues.
But I think that's tied together.
Yes.
I think it's tied together.
No, not being a dope fan.
You know, but these are just.
I don't.
I think that.
I think what Mishla was alluding to was the mental conditioning.
I'm alluding to the mental conditioning as you join the armed forces in this country.
It's the brainwashing that they go through.
It is a definite brainwashing that you have to be conditioned, because you have to follow a leader. If you know anybody in the military, they are very, very
rigid.
Very rich. Rigid.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't post that on social media.
Very
my this is this, and this. Their voice is very stifled.
It's muted. It's
very muted.
Yeah, that's true.
They are a machine of this country.
They want the benefits as well too.
Exactly.
It's so many layers to that, and there's so many reasons that it's tied to that as well.
But couldn't that be part of the results of having PTSD?
No, this is part.
No,
this is how
this is the before.
This
is beforehand.
Yeah. So they're brainwashing from that $20,000 bonus that they hand you to join them to serve, or whatever your bonus is to join. It's the conditioning. And so that's why I think that we do not see an upsurgence in our own militia to protect our people,
communities,
because they have been brainwashed and conditioned. My point, my opinion.
That's a great point.
And it's a point taken, because that's what it is. Exactly.
Absolutely.
But in this case, in this film, he was not brainwashed. He is a vet, and he took matters into his own hands.
Him and his clique. Him and his clique.
Him and his crew.
So I don't want to give the movie away. But
you're totally gonna give it away.
No. But the fact of the matter that he got 6 civilians and 6 additional convicts who were nonviolent convicts, and he had them as part of the jury. And I thought that was interesting, because you had people who committed a crime, people who, there was a young lady who was paying a ticket, and she just happened to be in the building at the same time that this event happened. And the fact of the matter is that everybody was able to give their own various experiences. So you were able to see there were 2 outspoken gentlemen who were detained in jail, and they gave their opinions about why they were here and how their interaction with police
And
was.
what was the complaint of the police officer that was on trial? He said, wow, this is not a jury of my peers.
Right.
Right?
What was the significance of that?
Right.
Yes.
And then Nate Parker, and then the character said, wow. He said, now you know what, welcome to my world.
Right.
Welcome to our world where
when
we
we
never
look out
have
there-
a jury of our peers.
And the grand jury, most of the grand juries, we are
Yes.
not on.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I mean, come on. So these are the people that say, no, everything that he did was in line with his duties, and he didn't do it. You know, there's no crime here. So,
And speaking about the grand jury, how do we know what information they're presented?
we
You
don't,
see,
because
we don't
the
know.
information is suppressed.
So same thing happening with Breonna Taylor. The grand jury was set up, and they were given one-sided information.
Always are. That's how they get indictments.
But this time around, it did not work because the two of the grand jurors are calling for the Attorney
okay.
General.
They got the
Is
okay.
this our show wrap? No.
I'm not sure.
Felix, quick question. Are we wrapping? Oh my God. Guys, we have gotten so engrossed in these topics and these movies. Please be sure to join us next Sunday as we delve into the language of love, amore, and black beautiful bodies. And February is definitely Black History Month. We'll be celebrating that. So please stay tuned. We're going to do a great month-long segment on Black history and Black love. Again, we are sponsored today by Vizard, a taste so delectably and finesse. Vizard Spirits on IG and on Facebook, or dial 678-896-5105 to purchase direct. Also, our next wonderful sponsor, Dose Skincare, www.doseskincare.com. You guys be sure to join us next week. Until then, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a wonderful February.
TV 1061.